Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the podcast today. I'm working on growing my YouTube channel at Alex Swire-Clark. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and like any and all videos that provide value to you. All of the podcasts can be found there, as well as lots of different video content on emotional intelligence and how you can apply it to improve your personal and professional relationships. Thanks for subscribing, and now on to the show. As many of you know, if you know me well, if you've heard me speak before, I am Alex Swire-Clark, emotional intelligence expert, award-winning speaker, and author, talking about communication, conflict, understanding others, all those good things to help you in your personal and professional relationships. So I had an experience the other day in the McDonald's line driving my daughter back from tutoring, and I wanted to kind of talk about that from the DISC model of human behavior perspective in terms of how different styles respond to negative conflict or potential negative conflict. And so being aware of that in your personal and professional lives, if you have teams that you're on or teams that you lead, generating, what's going on with how I respond to this reaction? Because some people are going to be very still, calm, and some people are going to be very reactive and maybe possibly aggressive in this situation. So let me kind of set the stage for you. I was pulling in. I ordered my food for my daughter, and then I had kind of pulled out. They said, your total is $5.20 or whatever it was. And then I started, pulling around the corner. This is one of the double drive-throughs, the Chick-fil-A's of the world, McDonald's have. And so there was a big truck on the inside lane. I was in the outside lane. All of a sudden, this Honda Odyssey minivan starts coming around me on the outside. So there aren't 3 lanes in McDonald's, just 2. So I'm in the middle between this Honda Odyssey, myself, this big giant truck that's coming in. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's going on here? And so as I am trying to pull up and go forward a little bit, this Odyssey starts to squeeze in ahead of me. And like the truck is pulling in, I'm trying to pull behind the truck, and then she's trying to pull ahead of me. So we have this like 3-way sandwich going on. And so I'm concerned for the safety of my car and what's going on. So she's dipping the nose of her front end into the inside, and I kind of do a little bit of a on the horn. So it wasn't a big like, you idiot. It was just a I was trying to get her attention. And so from that perspective, as a high S, which is part of my personality style, I'm a high I and S, I just hit the horn the one time and just try to say, hey, do you need something, or can I help, or what's going on? Trying to figure out what was going, what her plan was. And she just instantly flipped me off. I mean, didn't even turn around, just stuck her hand out the window, flipped me off. And her son, or there was another young man in the front seat, and that guy was just ripping me up and down, just. And I'm like, dude, y'all gotta chill. I'm just trying to find out what the deal is. So as I kind of looked over and stared, and I'm kind of looking around, I saw she had a receipt in her hand, and so I'm assuming that she didn't get something on her order, but I had no way of knowing that until I did some investigation, kind of looking up and doing this kind of mess and staring into her car to see what was going on. So from that perspective, I kind of figured that out. And so I slowed down, let her in, and she got her stuff. And I was talking to the person at the drive-thru taking my money. And I said, look, the lady in front of me, she was crazy. I hope, she's okay and whatnot. And so she pulled up to the van, pulls up to the next part of the drive-thru where you pick up your food. She shows him a receipt or whatever. She gets a bag, and then she's pulling out, and she flips me off again. I mean, just straight up, just flips me off. So I'm like, twice in about a period of about 5 minutes, and she never even looked at me, turned around to ask what was going on. And so from the perspective of DISC mindset, I'm thinking about, just from, she's having a bad day. So obviously, she's trying to get somewhere, maybe doing it in a hurry because the line was long and it kind of backed up and what have you. So, sometimes we instantly react in a very aggressive way simply because we're having a bad day, no matter what style we are. But I want to talk about my response to what happened, and how I would have responded depending on what personality style I had at that initial bird flip. So if I'm a high D style, high Ds are direct. They speak what's on their mind. They tell you what's going on. And so if I'm a high D in that situation, I might have had a bird flip, and my response might have been, oh no, she didn't. What? Hey, who you? Girl, you ain't getting in this line. No, hey, back off. Hey, get out of my way. You follow the line with the rest of the people. I mean, we're all sitting here waiting for our stuff. I can't help it. Walk inside, park the car. You got an adult in the front seat. I mean, go do something. I mean, don't be cutting in front of me. Why are you choosing me? So as a high D, they might get really aggressive, speak their mind, not a lot of a filter there, because a D is going to be very direct in what they have to say and determined, hey, I sat in this line for 15 minutes waiting on my food. You can sit in line and get your stuff, or go to another spot, park the car, walk in the restaurant, put a mask on, and go find out what they can do to help you. So that might be a D's mentality. From an I's mentality, an I, who is, outgoing and people-oriented, they might say something like, wonder what happened there, let's have a little scoochie race. Let's see how close I can get to her car without having some problem. Kind of sneak it on over there and kind of make it a playful type of thing. Not do anything, manipulative or do anything, conniving, but just having fun with the situation and try to get a positive outcome and encourage that lady to just go ahead in front of me, just kind of wave at her, say, hey, it's all good, woo, do your thing. Because those eyes are positive. From the S standpoint, those S's, and they are about supporting others. They are kind. They are caring. And so an S, as soon as that person started to cut in, they would have stopped and said, waved them in and come on over. Come on. It's fine. I mean, I've been there before. I got 5 kids. It's all good. Come on. Yeah, come on. Just come on. And so even after that bird flip, a high S would still be welcoming and warm unless, they were themselves triggered at some point, because they understand. They're very empathetic. S's are, and so they understand that things happen like that in life, and so they're going to be a more calm response to it. And then the C's are going to be thinking to themselves, I wonder why they need to get in front of me. Why did they choose me to get in front of versus somebody else? And why are they even going back into the line anyway? This is really inefficient because there's a lot of people waiting behind us. Why didn't they just go inside, And so they're just going to sit there and they'll probably end up letting them in, but they'll do it in a way that they're talking to themselves the whole time, thinking to themselves, why this and why now and why me? And why didn't they get their order right the first time? Was she not clear in terms of what she bought or purchased or what have you? So from that perspective, we all have a unique way of responding to those situations in terms of when things stress us out. But we have to be aware of that. That self-awareness piece is so huge. It's so important so that we can prevent ourselves from being triggered in those moments, because otherwise we let everyone else influence our own emotions and our own attitudes. And as I tell my kids all the time, the only thing we can control in this world is our attitude and our actions. That's it. And so if we let someone steal that from us, obviously a lady cutting in front of me and flipping me the bird, if we let someone steal that from us, then, where are we as a person? Where are we as a society when we let all these other folks influence our own decisions? We become very reactionary instead of proactive in terms of how we approach the world. So from that perspective, we just need to be mindful that people are going to be triggered. That happens from time to time. It's how we choose to respond that really defines who we are and defines our character. Are we going to let folks influence us to respond back in kind, and the Old Testament eye for an eye mentality? Or are we going to be more thoughtful about how we respond, think, breathe the moment, analyze the situation, and then get the best outcome for both parties? Because I could have gone all high D on her and basically just taken my car and started scooting it out towards her car and said, okay, it's a chicken. Who's going to move first, me or you? Okay, let's go, lady. I mean, I could have been aggressive. I could have parked the car and got out and walked around and said, why are you cutting in front of me? I could have done that, but I chose to stay in the car. And I waved at her. She was walking out even after she flipped me the bird. So, as a high I and a high S, being people-oriented, I was trying to make her day as best I can. Because it's one of those things that I try to do as a high I, as I'm always trying to get people to be positive from any interaction they have with me. So I always try to use people's name tags when I'm in the drive-through. I always try to make sure that people understand that if they're leaving with a smile, then we've had a good transaction. So I'll try to make a joke in the drive-through, and my wife will go, my kids are like, Dad, they don't have any interest in hearing your jokes or whatever. But I always try to make people laugh, because in any situation, I don't care if you're a president of the company or you're an hourly employee working at Bojangles or Burger King, everyone's got a place in this world. And it could be just one thing for me to make that very transactional, and I'm going in and I'm going out, and you really don't matter to me, just give me my darn food. Well, where are we as a society thinking like that? If I try to make that person feel better about themselves after I leave, and I do it in a genuine, sincere way, then I'm doing what I'm put on this planet to do. My higher calling is to, make people feel better about themselves after they've had time with me, versus worse than that, because it's easy to complain when your food's late. It's easy to just be cynical about everything. But if we try to build people up instead of tearing people down, that's where the magic happens in relationships. But it starts with that self-awareness piece. So from a self-awareness standpoint, if you don't know what personality style you are and how you react and how you get triggered by things, you can take one of my personality assessments. I will put a link in the description below after this video. I'll be happy to have you take one of those. Less than $15. They're super great. Obviously, I've got a podcast out there. I've got lots of YouTube videos, great content to help you with your own self-awareness and help you create better personal and professional relationships. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.